Have you ever gotten a raise and for about 2 weeks, you genuinely felt like your life was about to change? Maybe your boss finally gave you that salary bump. Maybe you switched jobs. Maybe you started making an extra $500 a month and thought, okay, finally, now I can breathe. You imagine checking your bank account without that little stomach drop. You imagine paying down the credit card. Maybe even building an emergency fund for once. And then, 2 or 3 months later, something weird happens. Your paycheck is bigger, but your life feels exactly the same. Same stress, same low balance, same credit card payment, same feeling that money comes in, looks around for a second, and immediately leaves. So where did the raise go? Most people think making more money automatically fixes their financial life, but that is one of the biggest illusions in personal finance. Because a raise does not make you richer by itself. Sometimes it just gives your lifestyle permission to become more expensive. Let's say you get a $500 monthly raise. That sounds meaningful. That is $6,000 a year. On paper, that feels like a real upgrade. But before you ever feel richer, the first piece gets taken by taxes. Depending on where you live and how you are paid, the $500 might become $380 or $400 in actual take-home pay. Still good money, still enough to matter. But then inflation takes another bite. Groceries are more expensive, gas is higher, insurance goes up, your rent increases. The same life you are already living quietly costs more than it used to. And then comes the most dangerous part. Comfort. You tell yourself, I make more now, so ordering food a couple extra times is fine. My phone is old, so I might as well upgrade. That subscription is only $14. The monthly payment is small. I work hard, I deserve this. And honestly, you're not wrong for wanting life to feel better. But this is where the $500 paycheck illusion begins. The money does not disappear all at once. It disappears in tiny decisions that feel completely reasonable. $18 for another subscription, $42 for delivery fees, $35 more on your phone plan, $70 for a buy now, pay later payment, $60 more in car insurance, $90 in extra restaurants and coffees. No single decision feels irresponsible. No single purchase feels like the thing that ruined your financial future. But your bank account does not care that each decision felt small. It adds them together perfectly. Every month. And suddenly, the raise that was supposed to change your life has been assigned to a bunch of expenses you barely remember agreeing to. That is the real problem. Every new dollar gets a job before it ever gets a chance to build wealth. $1 goes to taxes. $1 goes to inflation. $1 goes to subscriptions. $1 goes to payments. And $1 goes to rewarding yourself because you are tired of always being responsible. This is not stupidity, this is human psychology. When people are financially stressed for a long time, the first increase in income often does not go toward wealth building. It goes toward pain relief. You buy the things you delayed. You upgrade the things that annoyed you. You say yes more often because you are tired of saying no. And that makes sense. The danger is when temporary relief becomes permanent monthly obligation. Because the moment your raise turns into fixed payments, you're not richer. You're just more expensive to maintain. Think about 2 people who both get the same $500 monthly raise. The first person immediately upgrades their lifestyle, better car, more takeout, more subscriptions, newer phone, nicer apartment, more convenience. After a year, they technically earn more money, but they have no more freedom than before. Their income increased, but their obligations increased right along with it. The second person does something different. They pretend the raise does not exist for 6 months. They take $400 of it and send it directly to savings, debt payoff, or investments. They keep $100 to make life feel a little better. After 6 months, the first person is wondering where the money went. The second person has around $2,400. After a year, they have around $4,800. Not because they're a genius, not because they make more money, but because they protected the raise before their lifestyle could eat it. And this brings us to one of the most important rules of personal finance. Never trust new income until you give it a job. If you do not tell your money where to go, the world will tell it for you. Companies will tell it to go to subscriptions. Banks will tell it to go to payments. Ads will tell it to go to upgrades. Friends will tell it to go to dinners and trips. And your tired brain will tell it, just this once. That is why raises need a plan before they hit your account, not after. The day you find out you're getting an extra $500 a month, divide it before it arrives. Maybe 50% goes toward savings or investing. 30% goes toward debt. 20% goes toward making your life better. This way, you're not depriving yourself, you're just making sure your lifestyle does not steal your future. Because the real issue is not that you bought coffee. The real issue is when your income rises and your fixed expenses rise at the exact same speed. That is how people end up saying something that sounds impossible. I make more money than I ever have, but I still feel broke. They're not imagining it. It happens because wealth is not just about how much money enters your account. Wealth is about how much money stays under your control after it enters. If you make $3,000 a month and spend $12,800, you have a $200 gap. If your income rises to $3,500 but your expenses rise to $3,400, you're not much better off. But if your income rises to $3,500 and your expenses stay near $2,800, now everything changes. That gap is where freedom is created. That is where emergency funds come from. That is where investments come from. That is where debt disappears. That is where options are built. That is where you stop accepting every bad situation just because you need the next paycheck. So the next time your income goes up, do not just celebrate the number. Ask yourself one question. Will this raise become wealth? Or will it become a more expensive version of the same life? Because $500 a month can become the beginning of an emergency fund. It can become the start of an investment portfolio. It can wipe out debt. It can buy back peace of mind. Or it can disappear into subscriptions, delivery apps, car payments, phone upgrades, and little conveniences you will not even remember 6 months from now. The difference is not the $500. The difference is who gives it instructions. You or your lifestyle. A raise does not automatically make you rich. What makes you richer is protecting the raise long enough for it to become savings, investments, lower debt, or freedom. So when the next raise comes, do not only ask, what can I afford now? Ask, what part of my future can this money buy? Because new money does one of two things. It either builds a door out, or it builds a nicer cage around the same life. And the choice usually happens in the very first month the raise hits your account.